You're listening to the Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson podcast.
Do you love to read, but like so many people, you can't seem to find the time to sit down and enjoy a great book? With a free book from audiobooks.com, you'll be able to catch up on your reading anywhere. Visit audiobooks.com/blaze now and get your first book free. With audiobooks.com's free apps for iPhone, iPad, or Android devices, you can download or stream your free audiobook and listen to it wherever and whenever you want. Choose your free book from more than 40,000 titles. And as an audiobooks.com member, you'll receive one book per month. And if one book's not enough, you can get additional titles for only $9.99. Bring books back into your life with audiobooks.com/blaze and listen to your first book free. That's audiobooks.com/blaze. audiobooks.com/blaze.
Warning, the following program has been cited for its copious inclusion of the word freedom, and therefore has been deemed a concern. Listening may subject you to additional scrutiny by the IRS, DNC, TSA, NSA, PBS, IRS, NPS, RNC, GAO, DOJ, EPA, NASA, CIA.
This is the sound of common sense defending freedom. The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson.
I really am not prepared. I just don't know what it's like to have an anniversary at a company. To have an anniversary where you've been there longer than a year, that's really foreign to me. It's happened a couple of times, but it's been so long and so few.
It's shocking, actually. I mean, truly shocking. This is the first time I have been with you for more than...
Wow, this is... I don't know what we're supposed to... Are we supposed to... Is there supposed to be champagne? Or
is
are we
there
supposed to
speech?
wish?
Were we supposed to prepare a speech?
I don't know how I'm supposed to act today. It was 1 year ago today that Skip and I started on the Blaze Radio Network.
Now let me ask you,
a couple of months old at that point.
How long ago does that feel?
Eons, multiple years. Maybe that's part of it too. We're really thrown off. We're in some weird time-space continuum. Everything's thrown off a little bit. Yeah, it was 1 year ago today. Skip and I made a very early morning drive through the snow down 12 Mile in Detroit, heading into the radio station we were borrowing for the first couple of months in Detroit. Went into a little studio that wasn't being used as they were moving into their new place. And Skip and I sat in there. It was very early, very cold, very dark. Our buddy Matt was with us to put some of it on tape. I think we have some of it on video. We should have put that out there.
Matt
whatever.
was there. I forgot.
Forgot about that. So that was 1 year ago today. So I guess 1 year ago today, Glenn made the fourth biggest mistake of his life. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so.
It is fourth? Is that where we're at?
I believe so. One, we can't tell you. Two, actually, we should probably
just not talk about 2 and 3. 4, though, is pretty obvious. I think that's it today. But thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it. Wonder if we'll be saying the same thing next year.
Hey, did you guys get the invite?
What's that? I'm sorry?
Did you get the invite?
No, is there
an invite?
An invite
yeah, Glenn is taking us all out to lunch at a place called Skips. Supposed to be really good food. I don't know. Have you heard about it?
Interesting, Cal. We didn't get that message.
That's really interesting. Yeah, Glenn says, hey, guys, join me for lunch at Skips. That's going to be trouble for you. For those of you that don't know, I was fired on my honeymoon, and they invited me, ironically, to a little restaurant downstairs at the station called Skips. Hey, come on down to Skips. I think it's Skips Deli or something like that. Come on down.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Glenn invited us to dinner at the Lambs Club. I don't know what that
I don't know what that means, Cal.
That's
he invited
strange.
you to Skips. It's really weird. In 12 months, in 1 year, Skip and I have traveled as the for company business. Do we know the exact mileage?
I don't know.
It's over a quarter of a million miles.
It's right around a quarter. It's over, but it's about a quarter of a million miles, about 250,000 miles.
And not all of that is air travel.
That doesn't even seem possible in my head when I do it,
yeah.
but as I was doing it out, yeah, it's about a quarter of a million miles.
A good portion of that is not air travel.
No.
A good portion of that's car travel. Small, cramped quarters. So 250,000 miles. I figured it out. Skip, you and I, in the last 12 months, have been in 34 states.
34 states.
We have traveled through to at 34 states, 68% of America.
That's
is our
incredible.
states.
That really is incredible to hear.
Now, we didn't broadcast in all of those. We broadcast in a good chunk of them. But, yeah, 34. I think 20 states we broadcast from in 12 months.
I believe that's accurate.
That's almost 2 a month, Skip. That's staggering. You got to figure the first 2 months or so, I mean, we were just feeling everything out, getting the equipment settled down, everything like that. So, wow.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's been quite a ride, though.
It's been a fun year. It's a lot of opportunities. I can't thank Glenn enough. It really is amazing. Still, when I think about it, Skip and I are really humbled by the fact that of all the people that Glenn could have hired for this job, for his network, when Glenn said, I, a longtime radio guy, am decided to start a radio network. I need to hire some people. Let's hire those guys.
It's amazing. It's still surreal to me.
Of all the people in the world, of all the radio talk show hosts, of all the personalities, of all the people, not only did he hire us, he hired us for prime time mornings leading into his radio show. Glenn was a morning radio host for years. That's prime time for radio. That's incredible to me. So, again, thank you so much, Glenn. Thank you to Dom and Chris and everybody else and the other Chris and Joel and everybody who's been a part of this. Thank you so much for supporting us. Today, Skip and I have decided as a part of our anniversary, it is time you have had your voice heard. It is time that your voice is heard. Today, we are starting an I Want the Blaze campaign. We've been here 1 year, and it is long past time for your television provider to get you the Blaze. If you're not aware of this, when you buy a little cable package, whether you want it or not, you're getting channels that you're paying for, and the money is going to people and ideas that you don't value. If you sign up for a package, say, I want to get cable because I want to get whatever it is. You say, I really like that History Channel, or I like the Sports Network, or whatever it is that you're tuning in for. You're also getting stuff like MSNBC. You're getting Al Jazeera. You're getting Green Networks and all kinds of other crap and programming. You're paying for that, not just because it's part of your package, but the deal is this. If a cable provider carries your network, if they carry this, you get a little slice of that pie, some of that money. So, and it varies per network. The bigger the network or the more followers they have, the bigger slice of the pie they get, and they all negotiate that up front. So if you spend $29, if you spend $99 a month on your cable package, $1, $2, $10, whatever it is going to MSNBC. Every month you sign that check, you're putting money in MSNBC's pocket that allows that liberal, lying programming, that propaganda to get on the air. It is lies. Listen to me. It's not false. They're not spinning. It's not personality. It's not opinion. MSNBC has repeatedly been caught in lies, both in what they say and in editing the tape. Do you think about the Tea Party stuff, where they've purposely edited the tape to make it look like something it's not? Those are lies and distortion, and you're paying MSNBC to do that. You're paying for the propaganda that MSNBC and Al Jazeera and Russia Today and all these other networks put out there. You're funding it. If you get pissed at Chris Matthews and Melissa Harris Perry and the other nutcases out there, you're paying their salaries. You can't get ticked anymore. I'm sorry, that is the end of it. You cannot get mad at those networks any longer if you're paying for it. If you sign a check to a cable provider and it goes to them, you're the problem. At very least, balance it out. And I beg you, please, humbly, throw $1.50 into the Blaze. Throw it. Glenn's not sitting on a pile of money. The whole thing is one big gamble. The whole thing is, let's see if we can make a couple of dollars so we can tell even more truths. Well, that's the whole thing.
I think that's one thing that's kind of missed in this, too, is this hasn't always been, Glenn's attempt to make a whole bunch of money with a media company. Glenn has been called to do this, to bring a news network out there that is actually bringing news to the world.
You know what's funny about this? If you go through, and stories have been written, and I'm sure there's a certain degree of accuracy about Glenn's income over the years, you look at it, Glenn could be sitting on tens, 20, hundreds of millions of dollars in what he's made because he's incredible successful. His shows, his books, his radio program. He could have a bank account with $100 million or something just sitting in it and not have to go through any of this stuff. Not have to deal with the headaches of Skip and I and Cal and Jay Severin and everybody else. He wouldn't have to do any of that stuff. He doesn't even have to be he wouldn't have to be in New York or whatever. Glenn could be on a compound somewhere in Montana doing his show from there, sitting on $100 million. It's not. It's poured back into this company. So, at very least, you're going to sign that check to the cable company, demand that they carry the Blaze, they carry the programming you want. And if they don't, it's time. It is time you cut them free. It is time you said, I'm not giving you money for stuff I don't want when you can't provide this one thing I do want. If your cable network, if your television provider, your satellite provider is actually trying to be balanced and bringing you what you want, do you know the people that are interested in the Blaze, the people who pour it in and support it every day online? The Blaze, the Blaze News online. What is it? What is it? It cracked the top 100 websites in the world, and then didn't go and say something.
Yeah, and it's usually around 60, 62, I think. In fact,
of the world.
Yeah, the top websites with 16, I think, million unique hits.
I think they topped 20 last month. Glenn said, or he talked about 20 when he was on. Or is that their goal?
I think their goal is
No, I think he said 20. Anyways, it's gargantuan.
28
it's
or something.
Huge. That means people want it. That means people are seeking it out. So, please, have your voice heard. Today's the day you make some decisions. We're past the holidays. It's time you say, I want my money going to certain places and not to others. I've told you for years, vote with your dollars. The restaurants and businesses I avoid doing business with because I won't give them my dollars, you have no idea what a pain in the butt it is every time I rent a car. When I rent a car, I don't care. I just need to get there. I just need to go. But every time I have to go through this nonsense, listen, I'm not getting a Chrysler or a Chevy product. Sorry. What do you mean? I'm not doing it. They already got my money in the bailouts, and I'm not doing it, and I'm standing on principle. Well, you can go out and see what's out there. All you have is Chevy and Chrysler. Well, I'm sorry. Well, then I'm going to have to go to the guy next door. Thanks anyways. These are the things that I do throughout my day. Just mountains and mountains of BS and stress I go through to make sure I'm voting with my dollars whenever possible. Skip and I don't have cable. That's one of the reasons right now. We don't do it. We won't do it. We won't give them our money. Instead, what we've done, and this is something I've encouraged my parents and others to do, is get high-speed internet. If your television provider won't let you have the Blaze, then here's a possibility. At least cut them free. Who is it that carries the Blaze? It's which of these satellite?
It's Dish Network.
Dish Network carries. You could get the Dish Network. Go and get them. Wonderful. Sign up. Cut your other ones free. Get the Dish. It's available to you. I would be willing to bet just about everywhere. Get the Dish. Fine. If you don't want to do that, get higher speed internet. You're saving money every month, and you can get most of the stuff you watch on television anyways online. May not be as easy to just sit down and press a button, but maybe that's a good thing as well. You get higher speed internet so the stuff's faster and you can get all the stuff you want anyway. It is time we changed our thinking. It is no longer sit in front of the television with the remote and that's our life, to just watch whatever stuff they spoon feed us. It's time we actively say, this is what we're going to be. This is when we transform and say, we're not going to do it anymore. We the people are back if you get engaged. If you get engaged, we the people are back. That's what the Tea Party was about. We the people are back. We said we're not going to do this anymore. And it is time you vote with your dollars. So one of the small things we're doing today is starting to use the hashtag #IWantTheBlaze. Hashtag #IWantTheBlaze. In fact, I'm tweeting it in 3, 2, 1. It's out there. It's time for you to be heard. Please help us get this trending today. Hashtag #IWantTheBlaze. Demand your TV provider carry the Blaze or cut them free. Trust me, enough of you do that today. You don't think the other ones who don't carry it, and I'm not even going to mention their names, the ones who don't carry it, you don't think if 100,000 people of their subscribers today said, yeah, I'm setting you free, you'd have the Blaze tomorrow. You'd have it by the end of business day. 100,000 people bail on the ones who don't have it? 20,000. You'd 10 would probably do it. Oh, we say we're getting it. Well, you've got. Tell you what, I'm going to give you a week. You give them a week. I'm going to give you a week to get it. If you don't have it, sorry, I'm going to Dish Network. Done. Zip.
Vote with your dollars.
It's time. They're using this stuff against us. We're paying Chris Matthews' salary every month. That by itself says, I'm out, I'm done. You can be heard. You have power. Your power is standing, being informed, and voting with your dollars. Please use the hashtag #IWantTheBlaze. Demand it today or cut them free this week. This is the Morning Blaze.
The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson. Mercury.
Alpha Tax Extreme Beam. We have these up at our house in the mountains, and I'm telling you, I can practically see the top of the mountain with this extreme beam. First of all, the company believes in truth, freedom, and liberty, and they spread the gospel around the globe by using light. It's a great company, and their LED flashlights are hand-built and virtually indestructible. They're focusable, they're waterproof, they're weapon-mountable, their battery life is the best in the class, and best of all, their beam goes thousands of feet. It outperforms every other flashlight on the market. It is truly a remarkable flashlight. Military and police teams from all over the world depend on Extreme Beam's top performance and reliability, and so does my family. They have a lifetime warranty, and you get 15% off when you use the promo code GLENN. Go to extremebeam.com now and see them in person at Sportsman's Warehouse stores nationwide. Extreme Beam, truly shining a light in the face of darkness.
The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson. 888-900-3393.
Or, of course, we stay in contact with you via Twitter. It's a great way to contact us throughout the program. At Doc Thompson's show or at Skip Lacombe. Use the hashtag what I learned today.
Yeah, he said a Jom tweet at us. Doc celebrates 1 year anniversary. Meanwhile, Glenn prepares a 9 a.m. announcement for the Buck and Skip morning show.
It could be coming. It could. Glenn right now is going, "Aw, poor little fella."
Oh, poor guy. At least I gave you to the year, though, man.
Yeah. If that happens tomorrow, I'll be tweeting. Demand I want the Doc. Hashtag I want the Blake. You know, that is a great. Think about all of the nuts we talk about, from Melissa Harris Perry and Chris Matthews and that other, who's that other dude at MSNBC?
Oh, what's his
Rachel Maddow. Those guys. And then think about the other ones at CNN. Who are the nuts? Torre? Isn't that gay Frenchman at?
He's at MSNBC, I think.
Is he at? No, I think he's at CNN.
Torre? No, Don Lemon's at CNN. I think
Don the Lemon is at CNN, and also who's the chick who was with Bill Nye, the faux science guy, who thought meteors were Carolyn Costello. She's another one that's there. All of these people, we play these clips all the time.
From adults.
We do ABC, we do CBS at some of those. Last night I was watching CBS on the regular broadcast, not on cable. I don't have that. I just get over the airwaves or whatever. And watching the little news thing, and I'm like, what are they talking? It was complete propaganda crap. And anytime we talk about those, and anytime you see it, you're paying their salary if you pay your cable bill. Sorry, if your cable system, if it includes that stuff, and you pay the bill, you're paying the salary of Don Lemon, the talking heads at NBC, at MSNBC, at ABC, at CNN. You're paying for all of that stuff. You're the problem. Sorry, I gave it up. You're the problem. You tired of the Common Core? You tired of the green spin? All of that stuff? Well, sorry. You're enabling. You're enabling the propaganda. You're the cash cow. You're the sugar daddy. If you're paying it, you are. Telling you, go to Dish Network. Demand yours. Gets the Blaze. If they won't, go to Dish. Sorry, it's the way to do it. There is a Common Core aligned lesson that was being given out as part of homework assignment at Fremont Elementary School in Jefferson County, Colorado. It was telling kids that by the year 2512, 2512. That is what 7 million years into the future. How long is 25?
25, so it's 500.
300. 500 years. 500 years. Yeah, just under a couple of 500. Huh. He's telling them within 500 years, Kansas is going to be an open ocean state.
Kansas going to be an ocean state.
Oceanfront state. The sea levels because of all the global warming. And then it said that the Smoky Mountains will become the Smoky Islands. Just the tops will be poking up there, Skip. That's what it is.
Smoky Islands, yes.
And that there'll be a sharp decline in the human population. That's going to take place due to not just global warming, but man-caused global warming, man-made global warming. That's a Common Core. So basically, Common Core in Colorado elementary schools are now teaching Water World. That
Gonna pop that in there.
Don't worry, though. As the seas rise, as the Great Smoky Mountains turn into the Smoky Islands, there will be a man emerge to save all of you. There will be one man who emerges, and that man is Kevin Costner.
Oh, jeez.
Don't worry, he'll be there, kids. Common Core in Colorado is teaching Waterworld.
How do they get away with this?
Because people don't use their power. We're talking about voting with your dollars. People also aren't involved in their local school boards and at the state level as well. You're letting them get away with this. Waterworld is what Common Core is in Colorado. There's more to the story. I'm going to give you more to this coming up. Don't forget today, use that hashtag #IWantTheBlaze, and please get that tweeting. Let's get that trending. Send it out to everybody you know. I'll give you more on the Waterworld story out of Colorado coming up next on the Morning Blaze.
You're listening to The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson
on the Blaze Radio Network. Mercury.
Alpha Tax Extreme Beam. We have these up at our house in the mountains, and I'm telling you, I can practically see the top of the mountain with this extreme beam. First of all, the company believes in truth, freedom, and liberty, and they spread the gospel around the globe by using light. It's a great company, and their LED flashlights are hand-built and virtually indestructible. They're focusable, they're waterproof, they're weapon-mountable, their battery life is the best in the class, and best of all, their beam goes thousands of feet. It outperforms every other flashlight on the market. It is truly a remarkable flashlight. Military and police teams from all over the world depend on Extreme Beam's top performance and reliability, and so does my family. They have a lifetime warranty, and you get 15% off when you use the promo code GLENN. Go to extremebeam.com now and see them in person at Sportsman's Warehouse stores nationwide. Extreme Beam, truly shining a light in the face of darkness.
You're listening to The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson.
888-900-3393. Let's get a couple of quick calls in here. Champ in Rhode Island, how are you?
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Doing well.
I was listening to your little monologue here about global warming and the Kansas turning into the new coastline or whatever. Mm-hmm. I couldn't help but think back to the movie Inconvenient Truth and Al Gore and how they had, his computer model showed how the sea levels would rise. And, of course, remember the 2008 convention speech and Obama saying how he would help to recede the waterline. But I digress.
That's a great point.
But Al Gore, it was like, the sea level's going to rise. Driving your SUVs, all that. Well, what happened was 5 years later, he bought this coastline property. I want to say it was California, but it may have been Florida. Now, the actual area where he said would be covered up with the rising sea level. So these guys are frauds. And of course, the computer models they base it on, it's a computer model, so there has to be certain parameters put in there. And of course, they're wrong. They're based upon already believing that global warming is happening. So these guys are such a fraud. And Kansas, if Kansas is the new coastline, that makes Rhode Island what? Iceland, the new Iceland, or the new Azores. I don't, it's absolutely crazy.
Based on my snowy commute this morning, I'm okay with that.
And these guys are never right. So you always fast forward how many years later, it's like, boy, they were way the hell off. So they're never even close to being right.
You know what these guys are? These are the guys that stand out there and say, like the sandwich boards and stuff, saying the world will end tomorrow. It's like that. Or who was Campion? Who was that his name? Who said he was the reverend who just died or whatever, who said it was going to end at a certain day and then came out and goes,
sure what his name is.
I miscalculated. It's 3
like,
month later.
I forgot that it was a digit off.
Appreciate the call, champ. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you checking in the support this morning. No, that's what they are. They're like, it's going to happen. But they just keep moving the goalposts. How many times have they told us that by the year, whatever, something, by now, snow's not supposed to exist?
Our kids will not even know the concept of snow.
Based on my commute this morning, and for a lot of mornings in the last couple of months, I wish they were right. Part of me really wishes that. You're right. They are frauds, and very rarely do people call them on it. They're teaching Waterworld, apparently, at Fremont Elementary School in Jefferson County, Colorado. Brittany has come in. She's helping to spin the dials radio style this morning, getting a refresher course so she can fill in for Cal in the near future. She pointed something out. She goes, Waterworld was a propaganda film.
Absolutely.
We talk about how these things work their way into our lives where you just accept stuff. I didn't think about it at the time, but that's exactly what it was. It was a propaganda film. In the movie, the seas has riven. Dennis Hopper's driving around the Exxon Valdez and stuff, right? Kevin Costner swims down really deep to see big cities that are underwater. It's propaganda film. Now, unfortunately, it's propaganda education. Let me tell you more about what's being taught in this Fremont Elementary School. In this homework assignment, where it talks about the seas rising, this was not technically a science assignment. This
Clearly.
We know that. It was a reading comprehension assignment. But in the handout, in the homework sheet, in nowhere does it says this is fiction. This is just see if you can understand the fiction, the story that we're telling you. It doesn't say that. Remember, what is the purpose of Common Core? Back up. We know what the purpose of Common Core is. But what do they say it is? It's to bring everybody to the same standards. And how do they do it? They say by not letting any moment go to waste and using critical thinking. So we don't just, in math, tell you a random story problem to see if you can add up the numbers and stuff. No, that story problem will be teaching you something else as well, right? If we're going to say Johnny has 4 apples and Billy has 5 apples, and can you tell me how many will be left over after blah, blah, blah? No, we're not going to do that. We're going to say Abraham Lincoln had 14 apples. And when his Secretary of State, Seward had 5 apples. You see what I'm saying? And then you're learning something else along the way. That's part of it. See, you're doubling up the learning there. You don't realize it, but that stuff seeps in. So while you're really concentrating on a story problem for math, you're also learning that Abraham Lincoln and Seward, and that's what you're doing, right? So if this is a reading comprehension and it's wink, wink fiction, they're in a backdoor way trying to brainwash the kids here that this stuff is real. The teacher didn't stand up and say, this is in no way real. This is just fiction. This is just fantasy. And even if she did, doesn't that violate Common Core?
Well, yeah, wouldn't I say then at that point, isn't this not in alignment with Common Core standards? If this word problem, if this homework they're doing is based off a fictional reality, that doesn't align with Common Core standards. So now they're talking out of both sides of their mouth, saying, oh, well, it's true when we want it to be true, but it's fiction when we're trying to placate something. Or when it's something we can't prove. Their theory of man-caused global warming.
So one of the parents asked the school district about it, and the spokesperson came out and said, we have district policy around controversial materials we accept all schools to follow. The spokesperson said, I think the topic of global warming would be considered controversial. But that was not the intent of the assignment. This assignment was around comprehension with a science fiction genre. See, that was not the intent of the assignment, Skip, so there you go.
Oh, see, they didn't intend for it to be controversial.
So there's another way to sum up where she didn't have to say all of that. What she could have just said was, our Common Core standards don't apply here. That's all she had to say. Or she could have said, well, we're just brainwashing. Don't you get it? You love a little bit of intellectual honesty. Now, according to the report, The school district officials said that the workbook contained the assignment. It was purchased individually by the classroom teacher, that this was not officially from the school district or with the use of district funds. Then that begs the question, don't you know what the teachers are teaching? That they're just randomly buying stuff off the shelf? Then what is the purpose of Common Core? For those people that have fought against Common Core and said, listen, you're not teaching this stuff. Sorry, the state has passed legislation that we must teach this stuff. So, wait a minute. Teachers can randomly go buy a bunch of propaganda if it continues the leftist thinking. But if you say, I don't want to teach Common Core, the leftist thinking, then you have to fall in line. In other words, you can go rogue, you can go off the reservation and teach whatever the flying fig you want, as long as it's more leftist propaganda. The state doesn't have to approve that, apparently, according to the school district.
Even if it's outside of Common Core, a teacher can go and buy copies of Mein Kampf and have the kids read them and start reciting and stuff?
Well, it wasn't purchased with school district funds.
That doesn't matter.
Why don't they know?
It's happening within the school. It's happening within the confines of a classroom.
Now, this assignment has the premise that a student from the year 2512 must create a hologram image of a student from the 21st century. Now, upon his arrival, the hologram student is shocked to see an oceanfront Kansas. And the explanation given from the real student in the future is, well, by the year 2512, by the early 21st century, people knew that the massive use of fossil fuel was heating up the planet. But people didn't stop their destructive lifestyles.
Wow.
They just kept using the Earth's resources. The ice sheets melted. The Earth's crust shifted. Volcanic pressure burst through in places that had never had volcanoes. And in 2130, the oceans began to rise over farmlands and cities. 2130. Just over 100 years from now. In 300 years, it goes on to say that most of the eastern United States would be covered with water. All that remains are the Smoky Islands, formerly the Smoky Mountains. And then the reading comprehension questions that follow to make sure you're comprehending, understanding the fiction is, what caused all the problems on Earth? It doesn't say, according to this bit of fiction, which has not been proven, it's controversial and there are many people who reject it. It has no basis in science whatsoever. What caused all the problems on Earth? Just what caused all the problems? What were the Smoky Islands before? How could the problems have been avoided? That's for the reading comprehension. How could the problems have been avoided? It's just a big coincidence, Skip, that it just happens to be about Common Core. They could have written about anything.
Well, yeah, and I'm glad you bring that up, because I wonder if there are other schools out there that will find these types of reading comprehensive notebooks about, like, the Kermit Gosnell case.
That's a great point.
And abortion. What caused the murder of those thousands of babies?
That's something controversial. Sorry, you can't teach that. It's controversial that way. My question is, if it is about critical thinking and maximizing learning, why are they using fiction at all for reading comprehension? Unless that fiction happens to be some classic work where you're trying to educate the kids about it. I mean, pick some, classic work of fiction that most kids,
or something.
So yeah, that every kid reads or whatever. The Red Badge of Courage or The Grapes of Wrath, or I'm just going down stuff that you have to read in school, anyways. Aside from that, there should be no comprehension taught with that stuff. Why wouldn't your comprehension be factual? Why wouldn't you say, here's a passage from whatever, from the founding of America, for whatever it is you're going to teach, whatever historical document, whatever, and say, comprehend it. Why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you tell the story of the Pilgrims, whatever, and say, comprehend it?
No, they chose to use a quote-unquote fictional story about global warming, and in just 500 short years, the coastlines will come into Kansas.
I was in Los Angeles a couple of weeks ago and walk into a little drugstore, purchase a couple of things. I go up to the counter, and the lady says, do you want to buy a bag? And I was like, buy a bag? And then I'm like, oh, I remember. L.A. has a tax on plastic bags. And I was like, no, that's okay. And I only purchased, like, 2 things. I'm like, I can carry. It's not a problem. And I walked out, and I'm going, oh, that's right. They have the whole, what is it, a dime or something on plastic? But even on paper bags, same thing. So I get in my car, I drive away, and I'm thinking about it. Wow, that's outrageous. So the next night, wife's with me. We go into the drugstore, a different drugstore, and we loaded up. We got some, my wife wanted some milk, so we got some milk to take back to the hotel we were staying at because we had been out, and some other things. And it ended up being enough that it was too hard to carry. We had some, like, nuts for the plane ride the next day, whatever. So I get up there and, again, forgot about it. And the guy's like, you want to buy a bag? And I was like, no, I'm not buying. Because that's, again, vote with your dollars. I'm not giving you my money. Sorry. Wow. And then I realized after I had said no, standing on principle, that I had too much to carry. So I have my arms loaded up with stuff, and I'm, like, dropping the little thing of peanuts on the way out and up, and I dropped this and I dropped that. And my wife's carrying some stuff, and I'm dropping it. She goes, why didn't you get a bag? And I went, because they charge a dime for it because these global warming nutcases out there, with the whatever. And she's like, yeah, I know you're right, but
I could just see her, like, coyly flipping a dime, though, to the guy behind the counter.
Yeah. No, I mean, she gets it, too. She's with me on this stuff, but she's also a little more practical. So she's like, but what are we going to – we really didn't plan this or think this through. And then I thought to myself, wouldn't the standing on principle be buying the bag in some ways? Because then you get to use the bag and throw it around.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't want to pollute the planet. That's not my purpose here. I just want them to stop this nutty stuff. So I don't know how to deal with it. I don't want them to have my taxes.
And we often, too, say about how you sometimes have to do some of these things to counteract what some of the other people do.
You have to suffer a little bit.
Yeah, like, for instance, when they have the turn your porch light off nights or whatever.
We turn them on.
We have to turn on
because I like right where we're at right now. I like this climate right here. I'm okay with this.
I'm actually hoping to get a little bit warmer, so that's why sometimes I'll just spray my aerosol outside.
Okay, so you go a little bit. Well, we definitely have to balance then their offsets and
That's
go a
what
little
I'm
farther.
saying, man.
So it's not just balancing what they're doing; it's going even farther.
I'm doing what I can. I can't do it by myself, Doc. I can't do it.
So
myself.
What is the right way? I don't want to give them even one dime, one penny more of taxes anywhere. So that's one of my pledges, and I certainly don't want to support that stuff. I guess it's probably not doing it, but then getting like 3 extra bags when I go to a city that doesn't have it.
Well, maybe
like
you just have to look at it not like a tax. It's just cost of
no, it's still going to them as a tax. Still a tax. They're still getting the cash. Who's getting it? The business ain't getting it.
How about you keep those little plastic bags on you?
There you go. You need to travel with them.
Yeah. Oh no, that's the hold on. That's the practical way that I could carry them with me, so I could go ahead and carry stuff. But I mean, I'm certainly not going to give them the money. Yeah, that has to be it. What were you?
But the nice thing about that, I mean, people always use those stupid reusable cloth bags. You need to start just reusing the plastic ones. Bringing them in.
That's what I do. I got a drawer full of them at home.
Dude, serious. That's what you need to go.
But reuse them when I go to the other stores.
Yeah,
like
start traveling. So when you go to LA or just keep. I mean, you can.
Cal, do they have that tax in New York City on the bags?
Some place. I don't think it's a tax. I think some places just want to make
just
money.
charge you off for them, whatever.
It's rare, but
because they do have it in LA and they do have it in Washington D.C. So how effective has that tax been? DC, it has been spectacularly effective, according to D.C.'s council. They've said this has been a huge success for them. I mean, it is saving the planet. I'm going to give you the details coming up next on The Morning Blaze.
The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson. Mercury. The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson. 888-900-3393.
4 years ago, January 2010, Washington, D.C., the district began taxing disposable bags with the idea that they would be able to do away with global warming. It would clean up the bags from the waterways and streams or whatever, and it would help the planet, help save the planet, because with the tax, fewer and fewer people would use plastic bags. Yeah. That's what it would decrease the use of it. And they say it's been an overwhelming success. I've got the statistics, and I'll let you decide for yourself coming up next.
The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson. Only on the Blaze Radio Network. Mercury.